Hello and welcome back to another episode of Slice and Dice Ecom. I'm Josh, the founder of ClickSlice, as you already know now. And once again, we are joined by...
I'm Matt and I'm head of sales.
In this episode, we want to discuss something we hear a lot, even yesterday, actually, from the email that you have with the guy today, from clients that have been burnt in the past from previous agencies. And it's literally all because the agency has set the wrong expectation. So I think when you're investing in SEO, understanding what you're actually investing in and how long it takes is really, really important. And not a lot of brands understand the complexity of SEO to have a good idea, really, and kind of how to approach the situation. So what I want to do is start off with kind of a segue into the first question, which is the discussion we had yesterday, is what are some realistic expectations that an SEO agency should be setting with an ecom client?
So I always say that when people generally ask how long is it going to take to get results, and I generally have this piece of advice: 0 to 3 months, you're going to see a little bit of movement. 3 to 6, you should start seeing the movement really pick up, and 6 to 12 is where you really start to get results and start seeing a transactional value. If you do not have an SEO budget which will then last for that period of time, I would say that SEO isn't for you and you need to save the money and put it into a different channel. But then it can happen a lot quicker. It's better to under-promise and over-deliver than it is to over-promise and under-deliver. So I tend to say, that sort of time period is where I work. And we don't oversell that time period.
No,
because
never.
it's, we've had clients come to us and say, well, I've only got like 1 month. Well, we don't want to take you on because we don't, obviously it's not beneficial for the agency if they're only going to stay for us even up to 3 months. It's long term for us as it must be for them as well.
Yeah, and also make sure the client has the right expectation again, right? I think if you've been told by an agency it's going to take 3 months, it should take 3 months.
Yep.
That's what you've been told, right? If it doesn't, then you're going to be upset. So again, timeline is very, very important. The question you get asked the most as well, right? So what about rankings? A lot of brands come to us, can you guarantee number 1 rankings?
Run the other way.
Yeah.
Literally run the other way. Because if anyone can guarantee it, they can't, because they're not Google. And we're not Google, they're not Google. We can't, no one can guarantee rankings. I can guarantee to get you on the first page with PPC because you're paying for it. But I can't guarantee that with SEO.
Unless you've got a friend at Google's department, you send them an email and they can make you number 1.
And even then, there's no friend that can do that.
Yeah, and if you had a friend that could do that, that person would charge you millions per day, per day, because sometimes they make you a lot of money per day.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that.
No.
And I think the problem with SEO that most brands have is when you're comparing SEO to other channels, like maybe Google Ads or email marketing, it's more data driven. I send one email, this is the number that clicks, this is the amount of money I made. It's very straightforward and you get the money instant. Google Ads and email marketing, where SEO is more like you need to build your authority, your relevance, we need to rank, and it's hard to compare. But what I always say to brands is go onto Google. If you sell, I don't know, inflatable kayaks, go onto Google and search for inflatable kayaks. What do you see? You see all of your competitors. You see them running ads. Now go down to the organic. What do you see? Oh, you also see your competitors.
Yep.
Guess what? They are doing SEO. So
Yep.
if you're just doing ads, you're literally doing half of the strategy.
Yep.
You know they're big. You know how much money they make because you look at the balance sheet all the time. Many of us do on Company's House. So, you need to take more of a holistic approach to it again. Yeah, awesome. So you touched on it in the previous, a couple of previous questions ago, but I want to ask you again because there's other factors at play here, right? We know SEO takes different lengths to get results depending on what's been done in the past, right? And it isn't just 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months. Like, what other factors are there that can actually influence how long your SEO campaign takes to get results?
So it could be keyword difficulty, how aggressive your competitors are, understanding the niche that they're in comparison to yourself. There's so many other factors that it can take longer. If there's an algorithm update and it doesn't go your way, that means it's going to take a bit longer as well. So yeah, there's multiple factors.
Awesome. What about growth? What can brands expect in terms of growth? Like if I did SEO for 6 months, what can I expect to happen to my organic traffic?
It's so hard to say. And you'd like to see sort of 10 to 20% increase at least, if not even more. It depends on the agency you're working with, and it depends on the strategy that you have in place. If that strategy changes or you don't get enough, then it will take longer.
I guess it depends on the search volume as well, right? If you're targeting a keyword that gets searched for 100 times a month, if we get you number one for that, your traffic may be
35.
another 35 extra visitors per month, right? That's not substantial. So again, it's very subjective. And I know when brands speak to us and speak to a lot of other agencies as well, a lot of our answers are like, it depends. It means like, it seems a bit wishy-washy.
Time,
right? It's a favorite saying.
Yeah.
But it honestly does depend. And
it does, yeah.
If you have any uncertainty, the best advice we can give is to speak to a brand and get some projections done, right? To figure out, what actually makes sense and what is actually realistic for this industry. Awesome. So that actually goes on to my next question, which I want to ask, which is really, really important. There are a lot of brands out there that want to spend money on SEO, but they're unsure about that because they're not sure how much money that's going to return for them in terms of bottom line revenue. So what can agencies do to give more clarity to brands on how much money that campaign is going to generate?
So we actually have developed our own calculator where we're able to take the metrics so we know how many people click on different positions within the search engine ranking. We then take your average order value. We then take your conversion rate that it currently is. And then we then look at, by ranking number one for this keyword, you could quite easily expect to get X, Y, and Z from that keyword. From that basis, we'll then be able to make that assumption moving forward and actually say, right, that works, that doesn't work, and so on and so forth. So that's what I would say from that.
Yeah, and I think any agency who can't do that for you, you should run the opposite amount because they are literally saying to you, spend £3,000 a month with me. You're going to make a lot of money. I don't know how much, but you just got to trust me. You don't want to be basing your whole business decisions on just trusting what someone you don't know said. You want data-driven approaches for sure.
Indeed.
So SEO is quite complex, right? There's lots of things we're doing on a monthly basis. The blogs, the technical, the internal linking, the content optimization, like you name it. It goes on and on and on, right? So how involved do you think brands should be in terms of the knowledge as to what their agency is doing?
Transparency is key, as we discussed in the previous podcast. So that they should be doing as much as possible and keeping the client informed. Like we do. We have dashboards. We have everything for our clients. Awesome.
So that brings us to the end of that episode. We don't need to drag that one out for the sake of it. Realistic expectations, that's the questions we get all the time. But if you are a brand watching and maybe you have some, want some more information about what to expect for your brand, feel free to book a discovery call with Matt. We'll put a link in the bio in the description below this. He'll be happy to run through, what to expect for your brand, your campaign at your budget level, just to give you peace of mind what to expect. If it doesn't make sense, then we'll let you know that. We won't take you on regardless. If it does make sense, we'll let you know and the decision's yours.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But thanks for watching, and we look forward to catching up with you on the next one.
Cheers, guys. See you later.